back. Yours truly, Katie and Renata.
Just every time you open, I break a nail. I just broke another nail. I just did the last one. I just did this one. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, first world problems. Okay. Sorry. Well, pretty soon gonna be third world. Anyway, back to what we were going to be talking about, and we were going to be talking about Luke Rankin. Okay? Senator Luke Rankin. He is the chairman, Senate Judiciary Committee member. All right? He puts in South Carolina, he puts the people in the committee. All right? That pretty much picks what? The judges. What is this committee? Tell these people what this committee does.
So this is the 10 members where they get to vote for who our judges in South Carolina are going to be. The people here have no say. Now they say, oh, well, you voted Luke Rankin in. I didn't vote for Luke Rankin to vote for these corrupt-ass judges. Okay? Yep. And we don't have a say. So if we're not happy with what he's doing, we don't have a say with it. And I can guarantee you no one even knows this is going on. Everyone knows that South Carolina and Virginia are the only two states that don't vote for their judges. But have you ever looked at who is voting for these judges? Mm-hmm. Do you see what these people do and how this affects you? So we're going to get into the scheming that South Carolina has going on with their senators and these committees voting in these judges.
Yep. Okay. So now this website goes right into everything he does, what he's an attorney.
Surprise.
Residing at 3745 Waterford Drive, Myrtle Beach. Well, I don't know how much I believe that.
This picture of him is really old.
Yes, it is.
For the record.
The address could be really old, too.
Yeah. This is off of their website. This is off of the State House website. But,
someone told us that usually they all like to live in Hartsville.
Mm-hmm. And then the second home, you don't have to put him in you don't have to mark it down your second home.
Nope.
So his first home's probably Myrtle Beach, and his second home is, anyway.
So, anyway, what do you got on him as far as what he...
So, Luke Rankin, he had, his election came up 2 years ago, because I think he's been voted back in for 6 more. I believe it was 2 years ago, and you don't go against Luke Rankin. Let's just make that clear. Luke Rankin he's an attorney, but he has so much backing. And if anybody challenges him, he comes after you illegally. And we have some articles to show you if you do anything against him, he kicks you off a board. He will release your personal information about your life, and he will display it publicly for everybody to see. So Luke Rankin, we'll go to this next one. Luke Rankin, and just the title of it. The Revenge of Luke Rankin. South Carolina Senate leader removes lawmaker from powerful panel, and he's just getting warmed up. Now ask yourself, why did they add that in? He's just getting warmed up because everybody knows how dirty he is and what he does. Now you got to understand, he goes in front of these judges. So he's voting for Conway's judges. He's going in front of them because he has an attorney office. So you automatically know he's gonna win.
And it doesn't matter when we go to vote.
No.
Because they change our votes somehow, some way through the machine. It doesn't show. There's been plenty of people that have looked back and said, that wasn't what I voted for.
And they call Luke Rankin one of the most powerful lawmakers of South Carolina. Is he, though? Or should it say he's one of the most corrupt lawmakers of South Carolina at the State House? So this is where Rankin was upset that the lawmaker in question, State Senator Tom Young of Aiken, had been too aggressive for championing the legislative interests of South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, a group that tried unsuccessfully to defeat Rankin in a heated GOP primary election this spring. Now, this is 2020. So as a result, Rankin yanked Young off of the South Carolina Judicial Merit Selection Commission and replaced him with Senator Scott Taylor of Spartanburg. This was done in September 25th, 2020. So ask yourself, and you can read the article, this is on fitnews.com. So someone challenges Luke Rankin, and he had the authority to remove this person off of the merit. Ask yourself, why does somebody have that much power? Because they went up against him and he wasn't happy? He's no different than the other senators in that room. But yet he gets that power. So Luke Rankin is
Dirty.
we've reached out to Luke Rankin, and of course there was no response. We've asked him, why does he choose these judges knowing their backgrounds? Why does he choose judges that he knows are going to be corrupt, that are falsely taking away children? Why won't he investigate them? And of course there's no response, not even from his team. No response.
They're adopting children right from underneath parents. They're just adopting them. People are losing their kids left and right over dumb things.
And the judges that he votes in, there are hundreds of complaints on these judges year after year. Complaints. And does he look at the complaints? Nope. He keeps them right back in. Judge Buchanan gets voted back in again. Hundreds of complaints on her. Luke Rankin doesn't care. People have cried out to him. People have protested. People have spoke publicly, revealing all this. Does he care? No. But the second you challenge him, now I'll show you how he gets dirty. So Luke Rankin's competitor back in 2020, it was a very, I don't know if I see the article or not. It was a very tight, they actually went to a runoff. It's not up here, but that's okay. There was a runoff that they ended up having, and it was John Gallman. His name was John Gallman. He was an investor, and he saw what the family court was going through firsthand. So he decided to go up against Luke Rankin, and no one knew John Gallman was going to be that close to where they had to have a runoff. It ended up being where Luke Rankin had like 58%, but he only had 40% of the GOP backing. And towards the end of this runoff, Luke Rankin decides to pull out all of John Gallman's personal information, revealing medical documents of their children potentially being abused, and claimed that John Gallman beat his wife, and that's why they got divorced. Completely false, completely illegal. And he did this and sponsored these ads to destroy John Gallman's reputation, to where this man is now known as an abuser. He cried wolf about his kids. It was absolutely horrendous, which, John Gallman is suing him over the campaign ads.
Yeah.
But
That's
this is
why
what he did.
When we see articles of someone getting arrested of child porn on their computer, we ask ourselves, was that placed there? Is that because this is how corrupt it is? They try to ruin your reputation.
And Gallman,
they try to go after you and your reputation
and destroy you. Now, Gallman was never charged of any crimes. There was no evidence of abuse on his wife. Nothing. And Luke Rankin makes these ads saying, now you gotta remember, Luke Rankin's not up for election again until 2026. So he doesn't have to worry about this for another 4 years. Or what year are we in? 3 years. So when John Gallman came at him, and John Gallman had so much backing, it threw Rankin off to where his only thing was to release these documents illegally, which now that building was being investigated for releasing documents about the children because they are minors, and then getting his divorce records, claiming he's an abuser. Do you understand what that could have done to John Gallman's career, his life, for lies? And what happened to Luke Rankin? Nothing.
They've done this so many times. They have ruined and damaged so many people's lives.
Mm-hmm. And you got to think, too, when Gallman does the lawsuit, he goes in front of a judge that Luke Rankin voted for. So you think he's going to win? Even if Gallman has all the evidence. You think he's going to win? No. Of course they're going to side with Rankin. You can't sue the man. Because one, he's an attorney, and two, he voted for him. So that's the type of stuff that Luke Rankin himself does. And you're not going to see much of that until, like I said, into 2023 again, but you are going to see who he votes for. People need to pay attention to what he's doing and pay attention to what these judges do. Because they all have, the majority of them have bad records, and he knows it, and he turns away. Now, another person on the GMC SC is, that's too long to
Todd
say.
Rutherford.
Huh? JM, yeah. Oh. So, Todd Rutherford. Brief, this is on their website, it's on South Carolina State House. He, like we said in our last episode, he owns a waste company. He owns a trucking company. He's...
Yeah, I know who owns waste companies up north.
Everyone knows that.
You think, come on. Mafia's down here, too, in a different form. It's called the Good Old Boys.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's an owner of a 3-tech Integrated Systems. He was a solicitor and a special prosecutor of narcotic and drug cases. He's an attorney. He does consulting in auto. So ask yourself, why does one attorney have to have all of these companies? Everyone knows attorneys bank $300 an hour, and that's a generous one. So why does he have to have all these companies
Yeah.
for auto? And he's on the national board member of the NAACP. Can I say that right? NAACP.
We have been told too, anybody from the Bar Association, if you've accepted the Bar Association, that you know exactly what kind of illegal mess you're in.
Yeah, and he's a board member of a Baptist church. And credit union. When we know all about when you're a board member of a politician at a church, Tim Scott, we all know what they're about. And this is another man that votes for these judges. Now, the thing with him is that he's also a committee of ethics. And again, like we said, the last one, if you're for ethics, why are you for abortion? He helped turn over the Heartbeat Bill of South Carolina. Now, the Heartbeat Bill was a huge success for South Carolina. That was a very hard bill to pass. And the fact that it got passed was a major win for the red state. But then all of a sudden, not even a year later, it's overturned.
Yeah.
And this man voted to overturn it.
And you don't hear anything of it until it got overturned.
So
it is a very sad day with this. But that's okay. That's why we're talking about it, making people aware.
And it's just when you go
Hopefully
public.
making our military aware.
Yeah, 'cause-
I'm sure the military knows about all it is.
Well, because we went through some hell and we did try reaching out, back to Luke Rankin, asking for help. We went public, everything. My attorney knew about this video by the end of the day. From the day it got released, he knew by the end of the day. And I got threatened for doing that. You know what the attorney said? You're never going to do that again.
Yep.
And the Guardian, thank God the Guardian said, it's not against my constitutional right. That was the only thing that I agreed with for the last 2.5 years. But she said, I had freedom of speech, but to not do it again. I named 2 judges, and we went through pure hell. I even had somebody tell me, a professional tell me, we went through hell because you named the 2 judges, and they worked back to back with each other. I never had another judge.
But mark my word, okay? If we know this information, so does the military. And one night, on a very dark night, they're going to be visited with a gun in their head and taken and arrested.
And this is not by us. This is not a threat. I want to make that very clear. So if anybody's watching, tries a lawsuit, this is not a threat. So now you cannot use it against us. Unless you try one of these dickheads to get
Oh,
on
well,
us,
if the military's coming at you, I'm pretty sure they're not coming with a clap, okay? They're not coming to clap for you, okay? They're coming with guns.
But it's very obvious what happens here in South Carolina when you try to name somebody for something wrong that they're doing. How hard. Look at John Gallman. That actually frightened people because there was one news reporter who tried to get more people on camera, but they knew what John went through. And they said, we can't do that. We can't, because of the hell, the money he spent fighting for himself, everything. His life was on the line.
Yep.
People were coming at him because they thought he was a woman abuser. So you got to understand when people are like, well, how come no one speaks up? Because of that. And we do. And
Yes.
we have been threatened. And
we've
going.
lost children over it, and we've gotten hurt. And the more I get hurt is the more I will tell everything.
Yeah. And it's like, they push, but we keep pushing harder because you can't shut us up. You cannot take that away. And Luke Rankin tries. He did it to a lawmaker. He did it to a random citizen who was just running against him for a change. And they weren't going to have it.
The people of South Carolina do not have human rights.
No.
That's how I look at it. We are either slaves or we're free. Which one is it? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you're a citizen for the corporation, United States of a corporation, then you are a slave. They are using you for money. They're selling you
Yep.
your birth certificate, making money on you. Now, if you want to be free, okay, do your research and literally understand that Trump has signed for us to get our rights back, to
Yeah.
get our freedom back. I mean, to be honest with you, rights, God gave us rights. These people don't have nothing on us once you wake up and understand that this is United States of America as far as what it was in 1776 because of what Trump has done.
Yeah.
It's just right now, the little guys are being,
Taken.
tested, seeing how many. So one day,
Yeah, because it's sad that, we make one video about two judges and we get so much negativity from it, but no positivity from it. Now, we were led from person to person. We actually went to the state house and saw Luke Rankin ourselves.
Yeah.
And he walked right past us. So it's just sad because you get so much negative energy. So this podcast, we expect stuff to happen.
and people don't want to protest.
No.
Why? Because they get arrested right away. There's nobody here for us.
No.
That's why we're SOS in this. We need help for the people of South Carolina. Whether they know they need help or not, they need help.
They're going to learn soon. if
All
we
right,
don't
so
now.
we're going to come back after a break. And you keep positive, though.
Yep.
Okay, this information is not to lower your vibration. It's to be aware.
And understand what South Carolina is going through.
I don't need to trust any man. I trust God. God's got our back.
Yep.
All right, guys. See ya in the next one.